Here are 6 deep-cut movies that helped inspire The Matrix. This is Nerdist Now. It's been over 2 decades since the world was introduced to Neo, Trinity, human battery goo pods, and countless other moments that were and still are some of the coolest things put to film. And after the release of the trailer for The Matrix Resurrections, we over here at Nerdist are so incredibly excited. If you were born after 1999, get off my lawn. It's kind of hard to put into words just how much of a phenomenon The Matrix was. Seriously, it was everywhere and influenced so much in almost every form of media that followed it. I'm looking at you, Equilibrium. But today we're talking about some of the films and television that helped inspire The Matrix and why you should absolutely check them out. We're focusing on some deeper cuts and lesser known films. There's so many influential films and art behind The Matrix that it would take entirely too long if we went on to list stuff like Ghost in the Shell, Akira, Dark City, Alice in Wonderland, Metropolis, or literary works like Neuromancer, The Invisibles, and Jeff Darrow's Hard Boiled. And speaking of Hard Boiled, let's get to the list with this John Woo classic, The Killer. Okay, yes, Hard Boiled is absolutely one of the many films that inspired the bombastic and beautifully stylized shootouts in The Matrix, along with other Woo films like A Better Tomorrow and A Better Tomorrow 2. But the 1989 action drama about an assassin on a road to redemption after accidentally blinding a singer has so much influence on The Matrix, right down to its sleek suits, intensely brutal action, and even this moment.
You're empty. So are you.
Have we mentioned how great Chow Yun-fat looks in a suit? Honestly, come for the suits, and stay for the thousands of bullets and doves. Total Recall. Philip K. Dick is credited a lot for not just helping inspire The Matrix, but other massive science fiction blockbusters like Minority Report and Blade Runner. But there's another adaptation that in turn helped inspire the Wachowskis, and that's the Arnold Schwarzenegger murder fest Total Recall. Based on the short story We Can Remember It For You Wholesale, Total Recall is about a normal working class drone who is secretly a human weapon and realizes his full potential after he's awakened to the real world, and helps bring peace to Mars after unlocking ancient technology. Or it's all in his head and he's still locked in a brain-altering chair in a lab, enjoying an implanted memory as a secret agent. Who can say? Spielberg might be able to, since Minority Report was set up to be a direct sequel to Total Recall, but plans changed. Total Recall is vastly different from its source material, but the underlying theme of whether or not we're in a dream or have seen through the simulation we've been born into is strong in both The Matrix and Paul Verhoeven's Mars masterpiece. World on a Wire. Keeping with sci-fi book adaptations, we can't help but spotlight the 1973 television miniseries World on a Wire, directed by Rainer Werner Fassbinder and adapted from the 1964 book Simulacron 3 by author Daniel F. Galois. In World on a Wire, a new supercomputer hosts a simulation program that includes an artificial world with more than 9,000 identity units. The units are living their lives as humans, unaware that their world is a simulation, aside from one unit named Einstein, who attempts to commit suicide, thus causing the scientist in charge of the program to enter into the simulation. Despite it being somewhat unknown to mainstream audiences, World on a Wire was incredibly ahead of its time and is absolutely an amazing predecessor that laid groundwork for not just The Matrix, but countless sci-fi movies to follow it. Fist of Legend. The Matrix has everything a fan of action movies wants. Guns, explosions, and some of the best fight scenes ever. Hong Kong action movies revolutionized martial arts in film, and Jet Li's Fist of Legend left a Jet Li-shaped dent in the DNA of The Matrix. The 1994 film is a remake of the 1972 Bruce Lee feature Fist of Fury, with the bone-breaking turned up to earth-shattering levels. So much of this movie helped influence not just the fight choreography in The Matrix, but also the shooting style, which was common in Hong Kong films, but felt new and exciting to American audiences who had never seen it before. Other 90s Hong Kong movies like Tai Chi Master and Iron Monkey played a big part in The Matrix's creation, but Fist of Legend gave us that rad, just close enough throat punch. You know the one. Strange Days. Catherine Bigelow's 1995 neo-noir Strange Days deserves a spot amongst the cyberpunk Mount Rushmore. Co-written by James Cameron, Strange Days takes place during the last 2 days of 1999, where the trafficking of virtual memory recordings that allow people to experience the emotions and past experiences of others is illegal. This is done by people wearing memory recording devices called squids. Lenny Nero, a black market memory dealer played by Ralph Fiennes, comes across a memory of a horrific murder. Nero and Mace, played by the awesome Angela Bassett, stumble upon a vast conspiracy set among a war-torn dystopian Los Angeles. Strange Days is dripping with style and grit. Production designer Lily Kilvert helped craft a tech-noir landscape that really elevates the film to a whole different level. And while it did bomb horribly at the box office, Strange Days has rightfully found a growing base of fans. It's a very polarizing film with some hyper-violent sequences, but it's absolutely worth a watch. Plus, the soundtrack still rules. Doctor Who! Yes, my day has come! Now, I can imagine right now you're thinking, Kyle, you've lost your mind. Not everything relates to Doctor Who. You're an obsessive dork and we don't like you. First of all, harsh. Second of all, there really is a major reference to Doctor Who in The Matrix. In the 1976 Tom Baker story The Deadly Assassin, a classic, the Doctor heads back to the Time Lord's citadel on Gallifrey to seemingly prevent the assassination of the Time Lord president. When he fails miserably, the Doctor figures out he needs to track the culprit through the vast electronic neural network, which can turn thought patterns into virtual reality. The Doctor goes into this virtual reality computer to hunt the assassin, who is deadly. Sidebar, all assassins are deadly. And the Time Lords call this memory computer, say it with me!
Johnny Mnemonic.
No, I mean, yes, Johnny Mnemonic, but also The Matrix! What are we talking about? Yes, 23 years before we took the red pill or the blue pill, a curly-haired weirdo with a 90-mile scarf entered the Matrix and traversed a jungle and a tiny train and almost drowned. Beat that, Agent Smith. No. And there you have it, 6 lesser-known works of fiction that helped inspire the world and look of The Matrix. And if you're mad we didn't include Zots as the first example of bullet time in film, I don't know what to tell you.
Zots!
But tell us, are you as excited for The Matrix Resurrections as we are? What's your favorite movie that The Matrix inspired? Are you mad we didn't talk at all about Ghost in the Shell? Let us know in the comments below, and for the latest in what the simulation tells us is pop culture, stay tuned to Nerdist.com.